All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to join us for this press conference this afternoon. We know it is cold and windy, so we will try to be as brief as possible and just asking all of our speakers to recognize the wind and the cold. So with that said, thank you again for joining us. I really want to thank the City of Takoma Park for hosting us and for all their support with the logistics and efforts from the start when it comes to advocating for the Purple Line and the businesses in this community. I want to thank the business owners who took their time away from their businesses to be here, and many of them could not attend. But we are representing them and speaking on their behalf as well. In addition, I wanted to be clear that this is a very important initiative and a very important unifying effort by both Prince George's and Montgomery County in terms of the businesses that are located along the Purple Line route and the critical need to ensure that they stay intact both during the Purple Line construction and through COVID-19. Very briefly, I want to thank some of the elected officials who are here as well. County Executive Mark Elrich, who you'll be hearing from, Delegate WANIKA Fisher, Councilmember Evan Glass, Delegate Lori Charkoudian, from Congressman Jamie Raskin's office, Kathleen Connor. Thank you so much for joining us. We are truly united in this effort around the Purple Line. Where we are standing right now, in front of this place, this business that was a thriving business called Evita's, is a business that was cherished by this community that has closed due to the compounding effects of the Purple Line construction and now COVID-19. But the reason that we're here is that there is help for these businesses right now. And we are here demanding that businesses along the Purple Line route, who are mostly small and immigrant-owned businesses that are impacted by the construction, receive the financial support that they deserve. This support was put in place and set aside by the Maryland General Assembly in the budget. This issue is not a new one. For several years, businesses along this route, elected officials, and leaders have come together to advocate for these funds. And we are standing here urging the governor to act on those funds. So just so you all are aware, after several years of advocacy, this year, the Maryland General Assembly took the unprecedented action of setting aside $2 million in the budget for businesses impacted by the Purple Line construction. This is recognizing the specific impact that this construction has had on these businesses. And these funds have been available since July 2020. Several months have gone by. The governor has been sitting on these funds for 4 months while the businesses, like the one that we're standing in front of, struggle to survive. So today you are going to hear from several of the businesses who are impacted and hear from elected officials as well who have been standing in solidarity. And to close out my remarks, what I want to say is, if you look at the Department of Commerce's website right now, what you're going to see is a big sign on it, a big banner that says, "Support Maryland Small Businesses." Recently at a press conference, Governor Hogan announced $250 million in economic relief. And one of his messages was, our small businesses cannot wait. So our question today is, why must these businesses wait when there are funds sitting in the budget, $2 million sitting in the budget to help support them and keep them open? So with that, I want to again thank everyone for being here, and I would like to turn the mic over to Kaylee Ganud, who is with the Economic Development for Takoma Langley Crossroads Development Authority, and also Ganesh, who is a business owner in this area, to share what they've been seeing. Thank you.
I'd like to bring my business team up with me. Ganesh, come on up, Nora. You can join us. Go. This is Nora's store right here. LL is on Western Wear. She's a mainstay of the Takoma Langley Crossroads. This is Ganesh Gamir. He is the owner of Red Chili's, a wonderful Indian restaurant down on University Boulevard. And I am here today as the executive director from the Takoma Langley Crossroads Development Authority. We manage the commercial district here and serve as the business association for the 170 businesses in the Crossroads. And we are here today because we desperately need help for our survival. And unlike some things related to the COVID crisis and related to the Purple Line, there are actually clear and present actions that can be taken now. I'd like to add, we are in front of Avita's, which closed at the end of September. A little more context, Avita's is owned by, Avita's is the mother who manages the shop. Glenda is the owner of the business. They held out as long as they could. The only support they were able to get during the COVID-19 crisis came from the city of Takoma Park, and quite frankly, that was not enough, as you can see. And Glenda could not be here today because she has now returned to her job as a real estate agent and is currently working 3 jobs right now. So I sent her apologies, and I wanted to tell her story to you all today. I'd also like to share that the Business Association recently released an annual survey to our businesses asking where they've been able to receive support during this COVID-19 crisis. And the response was 11% of respondents received support from the State of Maryland COVID-19 grant. There has been no support thus far for businesses impacted by the Purple Line, and there has been 10% of support for the COVID-19 crisis, and quite frankly, that is not enough from the State of Maryland. I would also like to share one statement from another business along New Hampshire Avenue, Capriccio's Hair Salon, along University Boulevard. They could not be here today, but they wanted to make sure that their testimony was heard, so I will share that with you today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Young Mi Park Zungia. I am the owner of Capriccio's Hair Studio, a new business investing in the crossroads. We are located near the intersection of New Hampshire Ave and University Boulevard East. Our shop faces directly towards the construction on University Boulevard. When we first did a tour of this location, the announcement of the Purple Line was actually one of the selling points that the real estate agent pointed out to us before signing a 3-year rental agreement for our shop. We were okay with a few months of construction in front of our shop if in the long run it would translate to more business from foot traffic for us. However, after taking a double hit from coronavirus, we continue to struggle with heavily congested traffic lanes, a lack of parking space, excessive dust and debris, without mentioning the loud interrupting noises from all the construction, making it more difficult for new customers to find our shop. And when they do, even if they love our services, most times all these inconveniences prevent them from returning to visit us. With this being said, it is hard for us to build or keep a consistent clientele portfolio, being restricted with COVID-19 regulations, in addition to the interruptions caused by the Purple Line construction, is a day-to-day, month-after-month struggle. It is unrealistic to think that we have to fight on our own a whole year without any real financial assistance from the State of Maryland that created the Purple Line project, if we can even remain open until the end of the year. I pay a substantial amount of rent on top of other expenses that we are still trying to catch up with after having to close for 3 months due to COVID-19. We ask the governor to provide relief because we urgently need it, and we need it now before it is too late for us small business owners. Thank you for your time. And now I'd like to let Ganesh.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Everybody knows, due to the Purple Line construction, business is really hit hard, and especially the restaurant business also. Every business got hit, also. I have restaurants in University Boulevard, 1341 University Boulevard East is a red chili restaurants, and during those construction, we are okay, beginning of the month. After, the construction was really, impacted, and, traffic was so heavy, people we didn't have a single customer some of the day. We have to, that during those time, we have a buffet and, so much expenses, and, we didn't have a single customer. And, we have so much hard time to pay the rent. Right now, we still, we have a, we are behind the rents, for last 3 months. Still, we're not able to pay the rent. So I don't know how long, and right after this, like during the construction time, and like, everybody knows, like, the COVID-19 situation, and just like, there was a lockdown, and like, we are struggling really hard at this time. So we really need help. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. Thank you, Kaylee. If you haven't tried it, Red Chili's is hands down one of the best Indian restaurants in the area. And we want to make sure that they're able to stay open. And again, as Ganesh just mentioned, several months behind on the rent, that $2 million could really go a long way to helping to ensure that his business stays open. At this time, I want to call up County Executive Mark Elrich to say a few words.
Thank you, Janelle. Back in February, my office wrote a letter to the state in support of House Bill 540, which was the bill that would have set aside money for this project to make sure that the businesses were protected during this period. The money is there, but it's not going out. And it doesn't do any good if it's not going out. It's a long time that it's been there. We know, I have to deal with this every day. There is such a double hit from both the coronavirus and then the delays because of the purple line. And for many of these businesses that are struggling just for the virus reason, having the additional problem of even the people who try to get there, not be able to get there, not have access, is just an added burden to all those businesses. It is a very difficult time right now. The governor does have money set aside for this. The legislature understood the importance of this. We actually talked about this for more than 1 year before this, the money finally got put there. So it'd be really helpful and really important for the governor to make this money available. He took $250 million out of the rainy day fund. He could use that money. He could just take the money that was the legislature gave him and spent it. All of this shows how important it is to pass, when you're voting, the state question 1. Because question 1 would allow the legislature to make changes in the allocation of money in the governor's budget. This state has the most restrictive laws on what the legislature can and cannot do. And they are stuck with a budget that if the governor doesn't put it there, it's very hard for them to move the money where it belongs. Vote for question 1, and it'll give the legislature more power to make decisions. These people represent us. They far outnumber the governor in terms of the range of people that they serve directly in these communities. No one understands these local issues better than they do. They ought to have the freedom to make budget decisions and help shape the budget. So again, thank you very much, and we'll continue to work with you. And no doubt be back in the next legislative session.
Thank you. All right, next speaking, we're going to hear from Delegate Lori Charkoudian, and then also representatives from the City of Takoma Park, Mayor Kate Stewart, and Councilwoman TALISHA SEARCY.
Good afternoon, I'm Delegate Lori Charkoudian. I want to thank Delegate Janelle Wilkins and Senator Smith, who's on his way, for their leadership on this issue. We all believe that the Purple Line is crucial for the regional economic development, and we all want to see it built as quickly as possible, but we have to recognize that some businesses and some community members are sacrificing in the short term so that the entire region can benefit in the long term. And it is crucial that we are ensuring that the individuals and the businesses that are making these short-term sacrifices can make it through this period so that all of us can benefit in the long term. And especially in this corridor, it is the most interesting, diverse, immigrant, minority-owned businesses that are at most risk of not making it through, and they're the ones who make our economy what it is. And so it's really important that we stand with all these businesses. Governor Hogan, we are asking you to release this money that we put aside. It is in the budget. You just need to say yes and let it go. And I want to reinforce what the county executive said, that vote yes on question 1, because that'll allow us to not have to go through this rigmarole when we make the right decisions in the General Assembly about how our budget ought to be spent. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Delegate Wilkins, for organizing this today and all your work on behalf of our community. I'm Kate Stewart, the mayor of Takoma Park, and I'm here today to say enough is enough.
After years of nicely asking for assistance from the state for our businesses, after years of being told by MDOT and the former Secretary of Transportation to, quote, they don't want to set a precedent for other transportation projects by giving support to businesses impacted by the Purple Line, I say we are living in unprecedented times. It calls for action right now to save these businesses. This is not just some inconvenience for a few months. We've been living this for years, and now the future is uncertain. We need to keep moving forward and to support our businesses. We are tired of hearing from the state and Governor Hogan that they share our frustration and ask for our patience. We are out of patience, and we do not have the luxury of time. We see what is happening here. The city of Takoma Park has put in place programs to help our businesses, but it's not enough. We can only do so much. We need the resources of the state to help us, and now is the time to do it. Thank you, and again, thank you, Delegate Wilkins.
Good afternoon. My name is TALISHA, SEARCY, and I'm Councilwoman for the City of Takoma Park, and you are in my ward. This is an area of the city that many people don't realize is one of the economic engines for the City of Takoma Park. We have so many small businesses here that are thriving, but they cannot continue to thrive without the resources that they desperately need during these challenging times. We've seen sidewalks in complete disrepair. We've seen roads closed. We've seen entrances blocked as a result of Purple Line construction. And yet these businesses still supported the premise of Purple Line and the benefits that it would bring in the future. Now, as others have stated, the Purple Line is uncertain. We're now facing COVID-19. Many of the residents that patron these businesses are unable to walk around and partake of the restaurants that are available to them. And now we need help. We need money. The money is there. Release it. Businesses cannot wait. Their employees cannot wait. The services, the vitality of this community, and many others that are along the Purple Line route cannot wait for decisions to be made about allocating resources that are already there. So I want to encourage everyone to demand that our governor release the resources that are available. They're sitting there, and yet many people are struggling now. So again, I can't stress enough, because I live here, to please, please, Governor Hogan, make resources available to the businesses that are here. Thank you.
Thank you again to the city for all of your support and efforts. We're going to hear from another business that has been impacted. Lenny Sagai from Kefa Cafe, a favorite neighborhood spot in the downtown Silver Spring area. Thank you so much, Lenny, for being here.
So what I wanted to say is we've been in a business since 1996, and we strongly believe that I don't even call ourselves small business. We are micro businesses, and we work 7 days a week. So if there is the money for us to be able to stay in the business, if there is the money there, it will be very important for us to get the resources so we can be able to stay in the business whenever this thing is all over. So if we do not get this particular money at this time, there is no way we can be able to survive. So please, Governor Hogan, please do this as soon as possible. Thank you.
All right, we're rounding it out. We'll be finishing up soon, I promise. I am going to ask ASHANI Martinez, who is with CASA, working with some of the immigrant businesses in this community, to please say a few words.
Thank you, Delegate. Good afternoon. I'm ASHANI Martinez with CASA. Our mission at CASA is to create a more just society by building power and improving the quality of life for working class and immigrant communities. We believe that businesses like EVS are essential to the vitality of this community, and keeping their doors open must be a top priority for Governor Hogan. The money we are demanding from Governor Hogan has already been allocated by the legislature. These dollars are critical to helping sustain and preserve the legacy businesses that have served the needs of these communities for generations. Businesses that have provided opportunities for countless families seeking employment, businesses that have been the foundation for many new Americans seeking a little slice of home, businesses that have been beating the odds and are now in desperate need of assistance as we battle this deadly pandemic. I implore you guys after this to look around, to go in New Hampshire, to look at the construction at the Purple Line, to see how these communities have been impacted for the last few years. These folks are living in the middle of a construction zone. We ask that the governor meet the moment and provide the money these businesses need. The legislature has done their job. Mr. Governor, we're asking you to do yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashanti. And now, I believe to round us out, we are going to hear from Councilmember Evan Glass and then Delegate Wanika Fisher. I want to recognize that Delegate David Moon has joined, and I'm not sure if he'll make it, but Senator Smith was my cross-file in the legislation that passed the House and the Senate this past session related to the Purple Line businesses. He's on his way. He may not make it, but I wanted to lift him up, and if he makes it in time, we'll make sure he gets up here to say a few words as well.
Good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Evan Glass, and thank you, Delegate Wilkins, for your leadership on this. You know, to be frank, these businesses were hurting when the Purple Line started construction. These businesses were hurt even more when the COVID pandemic happened. And these businesses continue to hurt because of the mismanagement of the Purple Line construction. So Governor Hogan, do the right thing. Help these businesses. The money is there. They need your help now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know Delegate Wilkins saved the best for last, which is why it's me. No, I'm just joking. Thank you, Delegate Wilkins, for your leadership. My name is Wanika Fisher. I represent District 47B. I'm on the other side. We share the border of New Hampshire Avenue, and I represent all of the Prince George's County side. I'm really happy to have our DCAO for Prince George's County and Economic Development, Angie Rogers, is here with me as well. A lot of our business has been struggling, that is true, but the biggest thing that I want to highlight is the hypocrisy of this governor. You cannot have a tagline that says we're open to business, we're open for business, and you let businesses crumble in your state. It's hypocrisy and it needs to stop, and he needs to release the money. You cannot lead in that way. And for our businesses, they don't have any more time, as was said, and frankly, they don't have the energy to continue with broken promises. Thanks to Delegate Wilkins and Senator Smith and their leadership, the money is there and it needs to be released to help uplift this community. I'm a proud member of an immigrant community, of this immigrant community. I'm a first-generation American, and so is Delegate Wilkins as well. And we know what it takes to not only have several barriers in your community against you, but the hardship, the oppression, what you go through to build a business on your back in this country, and then to have your state leave you behind. And I just encourage our governor to release this money. I thank everyone that is here, and I will say Prince George's County and Montgomery County stand hand in hand as one, asking for this relief and asking for help for our community. Thank you.
All right. At this time, we will take any questions. Yes.
For you, I was wondering, can you provide the names of everyone who spoke with the spelling and title? Just as told, we all were going to need. Is that all right?
Yes, names and titles of everyone who spoke. Please make sure that my Chief of Staff, Kathleen, has your card or contact information if you're a member of the media and need that information.
For County Executive Elrich, what's the best explanation you have for why the funds haven't been spent? Is it the idea that it sets some kind of precedent for other projects?
Everybody's more afraid of setting a precedent than doing the right thing. And I'd rather set the precedent, frankly. You know, we had to step in at Silver Spring and letting them, when there was construction from a project that the county supported and it wound up displacing or hurting businesses. We stood up and created a fund to help those businesses, to help them get through that, because we realized that something we permitted created a mess. And we felt obligated to try to undo that. I feel the same way that you do about the governor. This is a problem. His management has made this worse than it needed to be. And the money's there. He doesn't even have to find it, just spend it.
The governor, if I can, for both of you, the governor's spokesperson, Mike Ricci, said, he was quoted in the Post as saying, part of the problem was legislators didn't provide a mechanism to release the $2 million. How do you respond to that?
I'm so glad that you raised that, because that's an important point. I would direct, well, first and foremost, the governor has created several programs in the last couple of months. The governor's administration has created programs specifically for businesses. They know how to do this. Second, we have provided a blueprint on how this program specifically can work. I would refer the governor's office to HB 540, which passed the House and the Senate. It needed to be read across the desk for it to officially be passed. But it is literally a bill that says, here's how the program will work. So not only have we been advocating for this issue for years, it's not something that's new. The governor's office has created similar programs we've seen throughout COVID-19. This is a grant program, just like he's created several already. And we have a blueprint for him in legislation that he could simply refer to and implement. So that is just an excuse coming from the governor's office. These businesses, again, cannot wait. Thank you.
That's, again, HB 540.
540, yes, thank you.
Delegate Wilkins. At the beginning of the pandemic, I think you had said there were between 50 and 60 businesses that were impacted by the Purple Line construction, mainly in Takoma Park and Silver Spring. Have those numbers changed at all since COVID has gone on?
Well, I think that due to the pandemic, there's certainly probably more businesses that are impacted, but the businesses along the Purple Line route are pretty much a fixed number of businesses. So I would say, yes, there's somewhere in probably around, I would say it's more than that. I don't know about that 50 to 60 number. I would say it's probably closer to 100 or more businesses that have been impacted by the Purple Line. And again, they're doubly impacted now. They were dealing with the Purple Line construction, financial revenue losses, closures. I remember one business saying to me that they opened their door one morning, there was a big hole in front of their door. So how can customers even come in and access it? And then now with COVID-19. So I would say the challenges have increased. I don't think the number of businesses necessarily impacted by the Purple Line construction have increased.
Delegate Wilkins, I just want to get this right. So this is just a simple yes or no. There's no type of timeline or date or anything. You could just say tomorrow, yes, you could release them.
Thank you for that question. Yes, these are funds that have been set aside, $2 million. We're not asking for new money to be identified. We're not asking for any sort of additional special hurdles that the governor has to take. With the stroke of the pen, he can spend this money and get it into the hands of these businesses today. So yes, that is an excellent question. This is just the action of the governor to spend the money that we have put aside for these businesses that really need it.
Of the businesses along the Purple Line, do you know how many have closed permanently since the start of the pandemic?
Do we know how many businesses have closed permanently? There have been a handful. I don't know if there are others who have more specific numbers. There a number of businesses that have closed because of the Purple Line.
Permanently?
Permanently.
In the crossroads right now, combination of Purple Line and COVID, there's 6.
6 in this area that we know of, so at least 6.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
I'm right on my store is right on one of the stops, and the construction hasn't started. We're just waiting for it to hit. It was supposed to start a long time ago. Do we have an idea of when the construction will continue? Pick up at a rapid pace, so I can plan on this closure or what's going to happen to it.
Okay. We have a store owner here, sir. You should be here with us. So I think you bring up another important point: the uncertainty in terms of for these businesses. You own a business along the stop. Unfortunately, the Hogan administration has fumbled the Purple Line, and so it is unclear when the construction will continue. And so we do not have an answer from that yet. We believe that it will be delayed a couple of years in terms of the finished product. So we would have to ask the governor that in terms of when the construction will begin. So thank you for that question. Thank you for being here and for opening your business in our community. Final question? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. Really appreciate your time.
That's it? All right, I gotta get my mic on.